How are you, LT?
I'm doing wonderful, Rich. How can I not be after last night?
I mean, it's unbelievable. How do they do it, LT? Let's just start with the macro question.
Well, I think I think there's many layers to how they did it. I think the thing that stands out to me the most is one, like, this team has really been starting to really connect over the last 2 years now. It started with the run from late last season. Remember, Rich, they started 0-4, new coaching staff, all that stuff. But you're seeing a team that's very comfortable with each other now, and they simply are well balanced. They know how to win games now, either by defense playing so well, by Phillip Rivers carrying this team, or these receivers, or Melvin Gordon running the football. And to me, I think it's really a reflection of the head coach, the way he has built this team. Now, yes, he does have fantastic coordinators, guys that have been head coaches before, Ken and Gus. So they play a tremendous part in this. But I think that's the reason why you're seeing this team starting to play so well.
And then what does Phillip do in the huddle? Walk me through what he's like in these situations from your obviously recollection, as well as from what you know from the current players.
Well, Phillip is a coach out there on the field. So when he calls the play, he just doesn't call the play, if you know what I mean. He calls the play, but at the same time, he's giving guys tips. Like last night, I'm sure he told Travis Benjamin in the huddle, all right, expect two men right here, Travis. I got to come to you. It's going to be open. Expect the football. Just those little tidbits right there that guys know, all right, I got to get ready to make a play. He's a coach on the field. And, you never feel like you're out of a game with Phillip because he's always communicating, and he's always making you believe as a teammate that, hey, guys, we have a chance. We got a chance. We go down, score right here. We get a stop. We're going to go back and score again, and we're going to win the game. That's his approach.
LaDainian Tomlinson, Pro Football Hall of Famer here on the Rich Eisen Show. And Anthony Lynn, you mentioned about what type of head coach is he? I mean, what have we learned about him over the last couple of years that you could put a little bit more dressing on what you said about him specifically?
Yeah, so Rich, when I went to New York, Anthony Lynn was the running backs coach. And I got to tell you, from the first time I met the man, he had great leadership skills from the beginning. The way he explained, plays, the way he taught the running backs, the way he coached them. He was always able to coach everybody, no matter if you're a superstar or you're, the last man on the depth chart. It doesn't matter to him. And I see those same qualities when he's coaching his football team. He's coaching every aspect of it. It doesn't matter who you are. He's gonna make sure you do it a certain way. And then the decision making. That's what stands out to me. Just last night, going for two, being aggressive when he knows he has the opportunity to be aggressive, and then being smart when you need to be smart. When you need to rely on your defense and say, no, let's punt it away here. Let's get a stop, and then save one timeout. And so we'll have it in our back pocket. So those decisions, man, being made by a young head coach is pretty impressive.
Well, and he may have to go on the road in January a couple of times too, because the fact still remains that the Chiefs have destiny control right now for their final two. What do you think about the Chiefs, having eyeballed them? You saw what happened against the Ravens last week, where they needed overtime to pull it out. They blow this 2-touchdown lead that they held 3 different times. What do you think of the Kansas City Chiefs moving forward here, LT?
Well, I think what we're seeing is, obviously what we've felt the entire year, that the defense is an Achilles heel for this team. And Patrick Mahomes has had to live with the pressure of scoring so many points every game because he knows his defense is going to give up points. Now, I believe last night that team played a lot different with Eric Berry in the game. The second half, and we saw that things change dramatically in the second half. So depending on Eric Berry, his health situation, if he's not in there, I think we're going to continue to see a defense that struggles on the back end especially. Yes, they're very talented up front, but the fact of the matter is those guys up front, Rich, they tend to get tired, and they can't rush like that the whole game. That's why you saw 4 sacks in the first half, and, it was a drop-off, obviously, in the second half because those guys get tired. And so I think that's going to be the telltale with the Chiefs. Now, their offense is going to score. They're going to score against everybody. Patrick Mahomes is so talented with those receivers that they're going to move the ball and score points. It's going to be on their defense to really bring them home like they weren't able to do last night.
So do you think that they're vulnerable? I mean, what do you think happens when it's all said and done when the AFC shakes out based on what you've seen through 14 now plus 1 game weeks?
Well, I think they're very vulnerable. I really do believe that. I think there's really, a number of teams, honestly, in the AFC that I can just picture going to Arrowhead and giving that team problems. You just look at the last 2 teams that went to Arrowhead, Baltimore and the Chargers, and Baltimore should have won that game. So you mean to tell me if Baltimore has to go back there in the playoffs, they can't win there? The same with the Chargers. They now believe that they can go to Arrowhead and win, as well as the Patriots. The Patriots beat them earlier in the year. So I got to believe that the Patriots believe they can go to Arrowhead. Who knows? Maybe Pittsburgh, if they happen to get in with all that talent. So I think there are a number of teams, Rich, that, they're not afraid of going to Arrowhead playing against that defense.
Who do you think wins Patriots-Steelers then, LT, now that we're looking over the steering wheel for the rest of the weekend?
Yeah, I think, if the Steelers don't show an ability to adjust their game plan when they play the Patriots, then I'll just see the same old story. Because, it's mind-boggling to me that the Steelers, every time they play the Patriots, they put their linebackers in zone, and they let the Patriots have everything underneath. Julian Edelman, Gronk, those guys go crazy because everything is underneath. The Steelers just let you have it. So if they don't change that game plan, they're not going to win this game. You got to get aggressive with the Patriots. And I'm not so sure that the Steelers defense has that ability to get aggressive with an offense.
So our poll question, ask it of LaDainian Tomlinson as we send him on into the day. Chris?
Yeah, LT, who's the MVP frontrunner entering this week? Mahomes, Breeze, Rivers, Gurley.
What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you, man, I still think, obviously being a former MVP, I think it's still Patrick Mahomes in a tight race right now. And the only reason why I say that, guys, is because the man still has, 45 touchdowns?
Yes, sir.
He's going to get to 50, okay? He's going to get to 50. And then the other thing is you got to take into account, he hasn't had a defense that can stop anybody. He has to play with the pressure of putting up points every single game, and he has. And he hasn't had a bad game so far. So, I think it's Mahomes right now in the tight race. But I'll tell you, man, Phillip Rivers is gaining ground, in my opinion. I think Breeze is still second right now, a close second, but Phillip is gaining ground.
I'm telling you, his personality and his energy is just infectious. It really is. It's gotta affect everybody around him, LT.
It really does. It absolutely does. And this is not, something, I know the public, people get to see the stuff on TV, man, but this is every day with Phillip. Rich, we used to play dominoes in the locker room. Mm-hmm. And the first one to sit down at the table is always Phillip Rivers. And, man, I'm telling you, he's playing bones. He's talking trash, That's who he is. Everything he does, whether it's basketball, playing dominoes, football, he really wants to kick your butt. He's that big of a competitor, and it really comes out, when he's competing. But he's fun to play with at the same time. It is infectious.
LT, really appreciate you calling in, man. Travel safe wherever you're traveling to right now, and I look forward to seeing you at the shop at the NFL Network in short order.
You got it, Rich. Thank you, man.
You got it.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Right back at you. Pro Football Hall of Famer LaDainian Tomlinson. You can catch him with Prime and Shannon Sharp and Carissa Thompson every single Sunday night on Game Day Prime.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.